Ladies and gents, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's Dan and Christie podcast for the first time from Hype Production Studio. Christie, how are you? This is insane.
We actually have a studio. We're out of the caravan. The caravan has been great and we had a great time freezing and it got us together straight away. But look, it was really cold. There was lawnmowers around us all the time, so it wasn't the best for producing a podcast. So,
True.
But we're so lucky. Like, we've had these legends here at Hype, our dear friends, Hype Productions, that have given us this proper studio space. And we've even picked up an agent for our podcast with Matt Batten from TV City. Like, we're so lucky. So it actually feels professional, guys. We can keep going.
It's very professional, even to the point where I put this old radio here. So we have to press play and record at the same time so we can record our podcast, which is very exciting. But
our ChatGPT
we've
logo.
got some legends back there with Jacob and Rob and Dave as well on the pots and pans. So they're the best in the business. If you want to do anything with Hype, they're the guys. If you need ads, if you need drone footage, if you're doing a solo out the front of a church and you slash.
Oh, everyone does that on a Friday, don't they?
They totally do. But on our show today, we were supposed to have a special guest. So let's start with this. The fact that we were going to have Michael Ironside, Hollywood superstar, a guy that starred in Top Gun. He's been in Starship Troopers.
But I can remember Michael Ironside in so many things. So the movie Major Pain, a lot of people our age especially grew up watching it, right? And Major Pain is that great film with Damon Wayans, right? And he's an army guy and he goes to like a boarding school and then a drunken dad shows up to like be a real nasty father to his kid. That's Michael Ironside.
He's played a villain in so many great films, Total Recall as well, and he just didn't bloody show up. So Michael Ironside, what are you doing, mate? Like, we've done this twice. I drove to bloody New Norfolk, an hour away, and he didn't show up last week and he didn't show up today. And I'm just super annoyed at him, but I still love him. If you want to be on the show, he's coming down to Metro Comic Con, so I'm going to be there in Melbourne. I'm going to have a couple of words with him and I'm going to roundhouse kick him in the face.
No, you are not. Your
Just
words
like
will be,
Arnold
I love you.
Schwarzenegger did in Total Recall. I'm like, welcome to the party, Richter. And then just roundhouse kick him in the tits.
Well, it happens though, doesn't it? So, we would love to catch up with Michael at a different time when it suits. This is what happens with different time factors and, he's over in New York, I think it is at the moment, but coming down to Australia, which is really cool because you think about the caliber of work that he's done. I hadn't even mentioned that he's in the film Free Willy, one of my favourite movies of all time. Who could forget Free Willy, this beautiful orca that we're trying to release? And I know you've got a few jokes about
Mate,
freeing
I've
a willy.
released my willy plenty of times. I'm going to release my willy on Ironside next time I see him.
Oh my God.
I'm going to iron his side with my willy. Because, I was so excited about it. I was getting hyped up this morning at Hype TV. And he just keeps on not showing up. I think it's a boomer thing. Maybe he doesn't know how to get on Zoom. I'm going to just give him the benefit of the doubt. The benefit of the doubt.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
We totally understand. And look, he's probably got other chats on his radar as well that might be a little bit bigger than ours, but that's okay. We totally understand. Whatever's happened, we obviously wish him the very best, but we're just excited now. And I guess that just reiterates that we can have guests on the show again like we used to, and we've got this really awesome setup here with Hype, and we're again so grateful because we really did want to keep the show going. And yes, of course we would have done that in our caravan. Like, Dan and I just wanted to jump back behind the microphone for you wherever you listen or now however you can watch. So the fact that we can get Michael Ironside back, and we've got lots of friends out there that we want to reach out to and great guests that we want to have on the show. I know that beautiful Tam and Sursok, who played my sister on Home and Away. I know Tam would love to be a guest. She's so gracious with her time, and heaps of people that we can get keeping the conversation of our Dan and Christie podcast going.
Yeah, we're going to get Duncan Stewart from Home and Away too. And,
No, we are not.
No, we are not
No,
going to get him.
No, we're not going to get Brendan.
But I'd love Hemsworth to be on. We've always talked about Chris, your good mate, and he seems like a guy that would be on this show.
Well, we could actually, I'm definitely happy to reach out to Chris Hemsworth. He's got like 50 million Instagram followers. But the thing about Chris was, and it's been so many years since I've seen him, right? But he was so down to earth and so nice, just the most normal guy you can picture. Like you, but he's got a lot of money. And, I mean...
A lot of properties.
Probably, yeah. Maybe he's ticked off a few more boxes than what you and I have. But he's a great guy and really down to earth. And, Chris goes on podcasts and loves to have a conversation. He's really real and has opened up about anxiety that he's had before he walked onto a set, like the nerves and all the feelings that every human being on the planet feels. And I liked when he did that chat because he did a chat with one of my favourite podcasters called Jay Shetty, right? He used to be a monk. Like,
Was
he's
he
a genius.
A Sophie monk? Was he in Bardo? Did he have poison in his veins? So he lived in Tibet somewhere, something like that?
Yeah, he's a really incredible chat. Jay Shetty he goes into emotional places and he's very inspirational, if you will. So I really liked when I saw that chat because Chris Hemsworth was on his podcast. So you can tell that Chris likes to just open up and be connected to his audience. I mean, he's an Aussie. He loves a chat, loves a yarn, as we would say. So I am hopeful maybe we'd be able to get Hemsworth. We'll definitely try.
We'll aim for Chris Hemsworth, but we'll probably get Luke.
Dan and Christie podcast, yeah!
Dan and Christie podcast, live from the Hype TV studios. This is very exciting, Christie. It's the first time I've ever been on television, apart from fanging it on ABC2 at 11:30 on a Monday night in 2008, which no one's ever seen.
Well, there's still time because when you said, I was going to say, is there time? Can anyone... Could we Google it? I did see it on your YouTube channel, didn't I, when you were on TV?
That up, yeah.
Okay.
And no one's seen that too. It's
Well,
only got about 200 views. Not even my parents watch that show. And that's pretty embarrassing. Their son's on national television and they're like, it's too late.
There's still time,
I
though.
didn't watch it because I knew how crap it was.
And Fanging It
terrible.
was a cool TV show that you did where you got to travel all over with a good mate of yours. And you actually, the idea was that you were fanging it. You were in your car or your caravan, was it? You were driving around and you were showing people various locations.
Yeah, so we travelled all around Australia, went to Uluru, went through all of country Victoria, went to some crazy places. Benalla, who's ever been there? Not me, until I went there and I'm like, wow, there's nothing here. Glen Rowan's up the road though. Remember when we went inside and they just had gollywogs immediately? We walked straight in and we're like, oh my God, Christie's Indigenous from the Biripi tribe. And you walk in and there's just gollywogs everywhere. And they're just like, yeah, we're selling them. I'm like, do you know what year it is, guys?
We couldn't believe that. So Dan and I went on a tour when we were doing a different show. And this was really sweet because it was for Ronald McDonald House charity. And we went to Mildura, we started, and then we went down south and we went to Bendigo and we went to Shepparton, went up to Albury, Wodonga, and drove back down to Melbourne. And when we went to Glenrowan, we went into this historical shop. Like they sold a lot of tea towels, if you will, about Ned Kelly, right? So we go in to have a look around and I'm like, this is cool from a history point of view. And like Dan said, there was gollywogs. Like it was terrible. We couldn't believe it. Like just
You walked in and you went, what the
I did.
It
was not okay.
No.
I'd already bought the bloody tea towels as well when I saw it.
And the funny thing is, Albury Wodonga, so you're on the border of Victoria and New South Wales. And when I filmed Fanging It, I actually did a Mexican versus America kind of Albury versus Wodonga sketch about it, which brings me to this, because there's a mysterious vigilante out there, and he's been dubbed the Mexican Batman. And we all love Batman. He's great. But you know what he does? He chases down people, motorbike thieves. So anytime someone steals a motorbike, he actually duct tapes them to lampposts. And he's doing this of his own accord. And he's done it heaps. Like people were just on street poles, their mouths taped, and the word thief scribbled across them too. Whoa. And he's been doing it for the last 2 weeks, and he's done it heaps, and no one knows who this Mexican Batman is.
I do. I know who it is. It's Antonio Banderas from The Mask of Zorro. Have
Probably.
you seen The Mask of Zorro?
I've seen The Mask of Zorro plenty of times.
Yeah, and Antonio Banderas.
And just gaffer tape on his actual face.
Absolutely. Because you think about it, that's very similar. Like a vigilante, a good person out there that goes out and fights the good fight, is trying to retrieve stolen property.
Yep.
It does have Mask of Zorro vibes when I think about it. Yeah. But even putting that to the side, I actually don't mind this because I don't like thieves, right? And I know it's probably not legal, and I know that you can't like gaffer tape people and write the word thief on them. But don't steal motorbikes and don't steal cars. Like I had my car broken into when I was 18, 19. And you know what really pissed me off that got stolen the most? Oh. I had my gym bag in there and I had some really good G-strings. And listen, right, the G-strings were, I'd made an effort to dress up, if you will, for a partner of mine at the time. Oh. And women's lingerie is bloody expensive, can I say, if you want to invest in some sexy pieces. And they stole them from the back of my car. And that really stung more than them stealing, like, the gearbox. Because I was like...
Did they steal your CD player or did you take that out at the time? Because you used to have to do that.
I think they took that too. But I had taken the box of CDs. Do you remember how we used to have the CD case and you'd manually have to change your CDs discreetly as you're driving and not get pulled over by any police officers? Because I'm not sure how legal that was at the time either. But everyone did it.
I got pulled off by a couple of cops a few times. but you had like your texter on the front of them. You had compact discs, and you'd have a mixtape on there. You like 90s bangers. Here we go, chuck it in. We had a CD player in the back of the Gemini, which is crazy because it's one of those no skip ones, but it always skipped. It was always in the back, just bouncing away because we couldn't afford an actual CD player. Yeah, it sucks when people steal your stuff, like it happened to me. They stole my Toyota. These 15-year-olds, and the funny thing about being 15 is they stole my car, and then they just put it up on Facebook. They're like, haha, stole this dickhead's Corolla from Eastlands, ha ha ha. And so I found him immediately because I literally typed that into Facebook. I'm like, oh, this is the guy that stole my car. I told the cops, and they found him, and he just got away with it because he was underage, which is pretty crazy. But they burnt my car, put an axe to it. And there's like, ha ha ha, idiot, leaving his car unlocked.
No offense to the children that posted about it. It's like, kids, you're the idiots because you've just told everyone. But the thing is, that's what they're doing now with the law, with what's it called, the post and boast. So if you commit a crime and then you go out and you boast about it, like, I'm sorry, but they're not exactly members of Mensa. And it is like, when you think about it, you go, yes, of course, it's frustrating that they are getting away with so much, a lot of youth crime. But then I also, as a mum, go, oh my God, like, how is this happening? Like, where are you going so wrong in your life that that's the choice that you are making to do? It really does kind of sometimes, because I have two young sons. One is highly autistic and my little boy is very well behaved at this point in time. But it just, no one is immune to having their child go off the rails. That's what I worry about. I'm like, you could come from a really good home or your parents do everything right and still this shit happens. So it's just...
We need a Mexican Batman. Batman Well. Or a Spider Juan.
Dan and Christie podcast.
G'day, you cheddar cheese or snacks. It's Dan and Christie, the podcast here at Hype Studios. It's really great that they've given us this space to just vent ourselves, Christie. And we need to vent about this. The Prime Minister, you made national headlines. I was there too. He came into our studio at our former work, which we got shafted from and axed. But you brought up femicide and a royal commission into it. And Mr. Albanese's response wasn't the best, was it? And I think this is why it made every headline around the world.
Yeah, it's funny that you talk about the response, right? Because so many people have messaged us, sent messages as well on my Instagram or whatever, kind of asking us what that day was like. And I don't know if you and I ever actually really spoke too much about that, because obviously we were there for the message, which was fighting femicide and the crisis that we have. At the point of recording this podcast, we've already lost 34 women to violence this year alone. It's horrific. And that day when the Prime Minister came in, we didn't expect our chat to go in that direction, did we? And I think I know a lot of people have been kind of going like, what was it like for us behind the scenes? And I don't know if we really talked too much about what that day was like. They brought us in coffee, which, we were grateful for. And hey, that was nice.
Yeah, we can't afford coffee.
No, certainly not now. But it was a big deal, wasn't it? There was about 35 people there, wasn't there, from the government in that building with us on the other side of the glass. Like, if you go back and you watch that conversation that we had with the PM, you can't see it in that video, can you? But behind us, there was about 35 to 40 people of the government out there, secret security people.
It's like ASIO guys with all looking around for exits and stuff like that. It's just kind of covering everything. He's got all these bodyguards. Kevin Costner was there as well, and Whitney Houston for some reason, the ghost of her. But it's a big deal when the Prime Minister comes in, and he needs that security, doesn't he? Everywhere he goes. And I don't think he was expecting to make headlines like this. He was very on the defensive. He said, there's a royal commission for everything and it doesn't do anything. And that to me was, I knew immediately, I could see by the look in your face, because this has got 100,000 signatures too into a royal commission. And he did royal commissions into many things, the Bondi tragedy that happened. Why wouldn't you, for half the population, have a royal commission into something that's become an epidemic?
That's right. And we even spoke to Sherelle Moody from Femicide Watch, and she's the incredible woman that keeps live tracks of what's happening to women in Australia, like as it's happening. She, ironically, in my opinion, she should be getting paid by the governments, because she's not on salary. She's just doing this to keep a live record, and she's qualified to do this. Her story is that... my God, her stepfather was a murderer and he killed 2 little girls. Like, it was horrific, right? And she has spent her entire life as a very reputable journalist fighting this fight that we have, right? And I often look at what she does and the track record that she keeps, because I just think, how is she across all of this? But she is, and it's all legitimate. And at the time of us having this conversation, like I said, we've lost 34 women already this year. And it was Sherelle who started the Royal Commission signature. So she's the one that's created this petition for so many people. And after we had that conversation, I was really glad that we did, because one thing it did draw light to when he shut it down and said, there's no need to have one, or, well, you know, everyone wants to have one about everything. It actually really did help the population. Now there's been so many more thousands of people that have called for this, because, and I don't think Dan and I have ever said this either, we spoke to people, various people that want this commission. I'm talking police officers that do. I'm talking first responders, obviously victims and survivors, but family members. Like, this wasn't a flippant point of view that you and I had, did we? We really have lived and breathed this femicide crisis for so long, because we did this on the air, and now we will continue to do it afterwards. But I don't think all their people expected it. And my little sister Lily, she she works for a big university here, and they're very particular about things that get released and public messages and all that sort of stuff. And even Lily, when I caught up with her in person, she said, did anyone not think to ask you guys to not cut it or to not broadcast it? Like, she even said, I wouldn't be surprised if some people lost their job over it, because it was such a, and I'm so glad that we had that. I'm so glad that the Australian public got to have the right to even have it addressed, because it's such a crisis that we have here. Like, we lose a woman in Australia every 4 days.
And that's it. And I saw you just shaking with anger. Like, I could see it in you. And you're like, we had to get a photo with him straight afterwards. And he was just so nonchalant, and he didn't know what he'd said. And I'm like, I knew immediately what he'd said. And those people deserve justice. Like, you know, imagine listening to that and just going, oh, well, nothing can be done. I was like, that's horseshit. Things can be done. Like we've said so many times, the coward punch. Immediately laws in Sydney were changed about that. And there were 2 men who lost their lives, and it's a tragic situation. But the government did something about it. And so, like, you were so angry, and you can see it in your face. You were just like, I'm not smiling in this photo. And that made headlines everywhere. Like, every outlet had it. It's so out of touch that the Prime Minister would say something so ridiculous like that.
That's right. And ironically, I actually have the same clothes on that when we met him. I'm dressed in all black, and that just happened. But you bring up the photo, and that was what I had was all black and grieving, because we'd lost 2 women over that weekend as well. And this was the first opportunity that he had as leader of the country. And when I say lost 2 women, sorry, that's a polite way to put it. 2 women were murdered. And he had an opportunity then, at first light, if you will, to kind of speak up and go, oh my God, this has happened. But you and I had to really go there with him and ask him to and it's like, I've said this before and I'll say it again. The conversation with him, our Prime Minister, about the crisis that we have in Australia with a woman being killed, not just via a domestic violence situation, which are horrific, and I'm not saying otherwise, but we're looking at femicide. A woman walking down the street, a woman going for a run, like by strangers too. This is what the problem is safety for we women. And like, he should be comfortable with having that conversation. He should be as comfortable talking about that as if he's making dinner, as if he's saying to his wife when he gets home, hey, what do you want to eat? So that was what that experience was really like for us behind the scenes. And but yeah, just so you know, Dan and I were just as surprised, if you will, on that day, how it just kind of went in a complete direction that we didn't expect. We're glad that it did, because it really brought to light this issue that we have been tirelessly advocating for, and obviously will continue. And if you want to get involved as well, you can sign the petition to get this Royal Commission. And if you don't follow her already on Instagram, please follow Sherelle Moody at Femicide Watch. And this is obviously, I'm asking all the great guys out there too. We spoke to Mitch Brown, AFL superstar. He was, played for the AFL for a very long time, and the first openly bisexual man in the AFL to come out. And he did a beautiful video about the importance of following Sherelle, so you can stay across statistics in Australia and get involved if you can. So check out her Instagram. She's a wonderful person, and it's hard at times to follow, but it really does show a great way you can support. Just remember that if you need immediate help, you can reach it 24/7 on 1-800-RESPECT.
Dan and Christie Podcast.